Hi, I'm Jeremy Shinewald, founder of mbaMission.
And I'm Liza Weale, founder of Gatehouse Admissions.
And today, we're reviewing another application essay from an MBA applicant who was admitted to Harvard Business School. If you want to follow along, use the link below to download a free copy of our book of successful HBS application essays. In our last video, we looked at Brian's business-minded essay. Now, let's take a look at his leadership-focused essay. At Stanford, most students avoided difficult conversations for fear of sparking controversy. Fortunately, I found a refuge for civil discourse in Stanford's Jewish Senior Society, Chabad. Our weekly Shabbat dinners featured open exchanges amongst diverse casts of students and luminaries committed to considering different perspectives. As a host, I initiated constructive discussions on topics like the balance between individual interests and the common good. When I compared Chabad's openness to the broader campus restraint, I concluded that empathy was a key differentiator. Our guests expressed themselves authentically because our communal rituals, prayers, icebreakers, and wine nurtured trust. Empathy has driven my professional success too. My colleagues and I recently discovered that our portfolio company had overcommitted to a potentially ruinous amount of unsellable inventory in 2021. I was tasked with quantifying and addressing the problem, but the company's operational leaders closed ranks and rebuffed my data requests. I explained to them that our focus was a resolution, not the assignment of blame. By recounting an early blunder in banking that resulted in a scolding, I demonstrated understanding for their position. As we tackled the crisis, I investigated their methodology while deliberately deferring to their expertise. I soon had the data that I needed to reforecast their inventory, identify cancelable commitments, and unwind $4 million of excessive purchases. As a leader, I want to instill a culture of empathy and authenticity. Simple gestures, offering mentorship, planning informal gatherings, deferring to colleagues' experiences, develop connective tissue that boosts teams' fulfillment and productivity. Okay, Liza, where should we start with this one?
Well, where I want to start is with the topic, the initial topic of college. He's exploring finding refuge in this Jewish organization. And I feel like often people are hesitant to think about or reveal or share their faith and their religion in these business school essays because it feels taboo, or, people might not, the person reading it might not be Jewish and therefore might not be able to appreciate, or whatever religion it might be. And I love that he is willing to share that. If faith is a part of you, then it's absolutely fair play in these essays. What is important is that you don't want to be
proselytizing.
Yeah.
You're not there to make a point about your religion.
Right.
You're there just to share how it empowers you.
Exactly.
And he does this very well.
He does it well. And I also it's really the opening story at Chabad is a little bit more about what he observes, why he feels safe and why others in the dinners feel safe, and what is missing in the broader organization. So it's not, often we see that in this essay, we see several accomplishments, one or two accomplishments. But the thing with this is that he plays a passive role. It's an observation, and then he brings those learnings to his future endeavors at work. So he feels safe in his Chabad dinners. He analyzes why.
Right.
Is it, the ritual is this feeling of safety, but then he aims to bring that learning and share it with others, specifically in this deal that he was working on or this transaction he was dealing with, when he had to try to get information that the portfolio company was not reticent to share.
Right. Yeah, indeed. I think, so I didn't participate in this brainstorming. This is another member of your team. But I would have been a little curious if he played an active role. He could have played that up. If we know definitively that he didn't, there was no need to. We're talking about the application of skills, and so he absorbed and became a more empathetic person, possibly through listening and participating, as opposed to saying I decisively facilitated this dialogue. If he did that, then he should talk about it. But it seems likely he did not, and so he can leave it be. And one of the things about these HBS essays is that there's a clear ask for a cause and effect. There's a clear share an experience and tell me how it's affecting you going forward, or tell me how it's affecting you now and how it will affect you. So you're right. You point out that he talks about this within the context of having the empathy to develop trust and to get everyone to own up, because sort of reducing the risks and consequences as one would in an intellectual discussion. We don't need to have risks or consequences. We need to just have a meritocracy of ideas, and we need to all learn from each other. And that's kind of, it's a very clear application of that. in solving this $4 million inventory issue. And then he just carries it forward in terms of how to create a culture going forward. And he's creating the links that the question asks for. So, basically mission accomplished with his leadership essay.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So next up, we'll look at Brian's growth-oriented essay. Stay tuned and be sure to download our book, link below, for more examples of real essays from Real HBS Admits.